There you go. There we go. That's the sound. Sound is better now. Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard on a lovely Monday morning. And good morning to you all in the chat room. Nice to see you. Stephen Hart has joined us in the chat room. Hart, you got sound? I want to make sure Stephen Hart has sound. Andy, take care of Stephen Hart and make sure that he has sound, okay? Sound is good. Phil Chaplin has informed me that the sound is good. If Philly is good, Greg is good, Chris is good, Dale, Doug, Phil, Rotorius, Holy Toledo, Kevin Hastings, and you'll be hearing Kevin Hastings this afternoon. I'm not too sure what time, Kevin. You hear it? We still have not officially come up with a schedule yet, but we will do it pretty good. Okay, so all good. Okay, let's get to what you came here for. And I'm not really sure what that is, but Alex Wood signs a deal with the Dodgers. 1 year, $4 million, incentives, the whole thing. The deal is done. He's already had his physical. And good for Alex Wood. So now the Dodgers now have a rotation that is pretty solid. Pretty solid. We're going to be talking about the Miami Marlins today, by the way. The Dodgers now go with Kershaw, who I think is a little undervalued. Walker Buehler. Urias, I think, is going to have a top season. Gonsolin, Dustin May, Jimmy Nelson, Ross Stripling, and now they have Alex Wood. So that's what the Dodgers look like, and we'll be covering the Dodgers in just a couple of days, okay? So let's just get settled in. Okay, Alex Wood had a whole... Malpal is here. George has joined us, and if you didn't hear George yesterday, you really and truly... You really missed out something. So listen to George on demand as soon as you possibly can, okay? Here's one for you that's going to knock you off your chair. Now, let's see how good you are. There are only two players in Major League Baseball who have scored at least 80 runs in each of the last 7 seasons. 80 runs in each of the last 7 seasons. Now, this little bit of information was supplied to me by Tito Luna, who is not in the chat room, Tito, this morning. But 80 runs, at least, the last 7 seasons, only 2 players have done it, okay? So we'll see what happens, okay? Only 2 players have done it. I don't believe Nelson. I think Nelson's going to be the long man, Andrea. So Nelson's going to be the long man, okay? So 2 players have done it, at least 80 runs in each of the last 7 seasons. Name them. Yeah, Trout is one. That's the easy one, Andy. Trout is one. Come up with the second one. Let's see it. Now, let's see how good you are, okay? Holy smokes. Rotorius gets it. Are you freaking kidding me? It's Brett Gardner. Nice going. I didn't think this would be answered until next Tuesday. Guess what? No, it's not. It was Brett Gardner. Now, and you put a question mark, Bull Dinky and Poppycock. You knew that answer somewhere. I don't know where Tito Luna got the question from, but it's fantastic. And the answer is, that's right. How about that? Brett Gardner. Now, one of the most interesting things, and, so much with arbitration and all this stuff, I think the most interesting arbitration case happens to be JT Realmuto. Because the Phillies and Realmuto, they're going to work it out. But as Craig Mish reports, this is not only a battle for JT Realmuto. It's a battle for all the catchers in the Major League Baseball, one of the most important and yet underappreciated positions in all of sports. That comes from Craig Mish. They're involved in every single play on the field, and new standards need to be set. And when you go to arbitration, it's all about comps. You got to comp this guy to that guy. There's nobody to comp to JT Realmuto. You can see what Grandal signed for. They spend time on pitch framing with the outer laces of the gloves, subtly very subtle, turned inward as the ball is received, and that feeds the perception that the pitch is a strike. The the catcher's pregame work sometimes shifts onto the midfield, and they just do so much. There is extensive video work. Opposing hitters are studied. Scouting reports to be read. There's a meeting with the starting pitcher, and the whole last-minute review of pitch selection and strategy. I'll tell you what, used to be called the tools of ignorance, but no longer, and catchers are getting a bum deal. But once the electronic strike zone is implemented in the next few seasons, a lot of the skill and nuanced understanding required to catch is going to become obsolete. I'm telling you, that's going to be trouble for some of the guys who make their living by being a good defensive catcher. That'll stay, but pitch framing, which has gotten so much in the last couple of years, will no longer be a factor. No longer be a factor. All about pitch framing. Okay? Eddie Caprio has joined us. Good morning to Eddie Caprio. Good morning, Ed. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Brett Gardner averaged 88 runs the past 7 seasons. Okay? Absolutely. How about that? All right. Back to the action. Oh, my goodness. Nothing like a good Monday morning. Todd Frazier headed to Texas as Dallas reports that they've agreed, pending a physical, about $5 million. Free agent, completing his 2 years, $17 million with the Mets. One of the reasons the Mets let him go is the emergence of J.D. Davis, and McNeil has become consistent. So bringing back Frazier was not really a necessity. And, of course, Peter Alonso at first base. The Rangers, now, on the other hand, they are still in the mix for Nolan Arenado. They say that they've still been in the mix for Arenado. The Rangers were desperate for a third baseman, and they still may be looking somewhere else for a more permanent option. Arenado, who they've been linked with, okay? There have also been rumors now of a trade for Miguel Andujar because Frazier could platoon at first base, okay, with Guzman. Now, Frazier provides good depth if the younger option, has trouble. If not, he's only going to be 34. He still had a much better 2019 season compared to the first season that he had with the Mets. He hit 251, 21 homers, and 60-something RBIs. First year, he only hit about 210. So it was a terrible season. He's entering his 10th year. He's is not a bad fantasy pick. So third base is one of the primary needs for the Texas Rangers, who, along with Atlanta, are among the reported suitors for Josh Donaldson. They lost out on their pursuit of Anthony Rendon when the Angels signed Rendon, but it looks like Frazier gives them another right-handed hitter in their left-handed hitting lineup. Okay, left-handed hitting lineup. Now, the free agent third basemen that have been signed, there have been quite a few. You got Rendon, you got Moustakas, who's going to play some second. You got Asherbal Cabrera, Todd Frazier, Ryan Goings, Miguel Franco, Jed Jerko, Travis Shaw. The guys that are still available are Josh Donaldson, Pablo Sandoval, Sean Rodriguez, Caleb Coward, Ryan Flaherty, Matt Duffy, Martin Prado, and Jung Ho Kang. So it's going to be interesting. Now, the Arenado situation, I thought it was just, as we say, fodder. I didn't think that Colorado, I still don't believe they're going to do it before the season starts. But Arenado, look, we know he's the best third baseman playing today, okay? Arguably the best defensive third baseman. He's 28 years old. He's a true superstar. He's in the prime of his career. And when you consider the lackluster production the Cardinals got at third base last season, adding Arenado would be a home run. Absolutely a home run. And a significant upgrade. That lineup right now, it looks shaky with Marcell Ozuna in there. They look like they needed another bopper. Without Marcell Ozuna, look, so the Cardinals have coveted Arenado for a long time. That according to the Cardinals, they're not planning on significantly increasing their payroll. Okay, but he's owed $35 million in 2020. And for context, when Paul Goldschmidt landed the biggest contract in club history last spring, it was a 5-year deal worth $130 million. Arenado now, his contract, here's the deal. He's got an opt-out after the 2001 season, and that means he could enter full-blown free agency after 2021. So there's a chance that Arenado could agree to give up his opt-out in a renegotiated contract. And the opt-out is kind of significant when you think of the fact that the Cardinals are very unlikely to trade. So, look, even though there's a lot of talk about Arenado, it's still a long way away. Not going to happen before the season starts, in my opinion. The Cardinals in April handed Matt Carpenter a regrettable extension that pays him a guaranteed almost $40 million through the 2021 season. Okay, so if the Cardinals could find a taker, Carpenter does not have any way to block it. So Carpenter has not turned out. He's a veteran player, okay, but still hasn't turned out to be any good. Dexter Fowler has a no trade clause in his contract, but I'm sure the Cardinals will give Dexter Fowler away for anything, okay? So the Cardinals have been connected to no other third baseman in the offseason. Arenado, Rendon was not on their list. Moustakas, Donaldson. So the Cardinals are just downplaying the whole thing. Very limited expectations by the Cardinals. The Cardinals have financial resources. They can afford the $234 million remaining on Arenado's contract over the next 7 years, although he could opt out, as we said. But they could afford it if they wanted to. Okay? They could. But they may have to get rid of Carpenter to do it. Dakota Hudson may emerge as a big-time figure in the trade talks, since Colorado would like to add a starting pitcher. It's unlikely Jack Flaherty will be in there. Hudson led the Cardinals with 16 wins. If the Rockies accept prospects instead of young major leaguers, then the Cardinals would be well positioned to make Lipitor in there, along with Nolan Gorman. Nolan Gorman, the number 2 prospect in Major League Baseball's pipeline. Matthew Lipitor, who they acquired last week. So it is possible. It is possible, but I still say it's not likely, okay? Not likely. What Colorado needs to do, in my opinion, is hold on to Arenado, okay? Hold on to Arenado.